Hi guys, and welcome to yet another video. My name is Angie and I'm really glad you're here. Today we're going to be talking about how to explain or how to navigate gaps in your employment history or gaps in your CV as a result of gaps in your employment history, and how to navigate all of that. I'm really glad you're here. Stick around. So a number of people have contacted me repeatedly to say, you know what, I'm a bit nervous. I started working and then I took a break to take care of my kids, or I was involved in an accident, or I decided to start a business, or I joined the family business. So like anything under 6 months is not something that is huge. It's not a break that you need to, that is not, it's not that big, it's not that alarming, it's not like red flags kind of thing. So because it could be between jobs, you could have enough money to tidy over, or whatever the case. 6 months or less, that's fine. And I'm not talking about because you're job hopping, that's a different case. But 6 months or less, that's not catastrophic. Or multiple different reasons. There are many reasons as to why. Or it could just be that you couldn't find a job. I mean, let's be honest, that could be a thing that has happened. And so I want to talk about that now, because it's not the end of the world. That's number one. It is not the end of the world. You taking a gap is not catastrophic. It is not something that is like 10 strikes you're out and you can never get a job. No, that is not the case. The first thing for you to note is that you need to own those gaps. So one of the things that is really that works against interviewees and potential employees in interviews, and even in maybe their cover letters or in their communication, is when you try and act like it's not there. Okay, like the gap is there and it will likely be brought up in an interview. When it is brought up in an interview, it's not the time for you to start stuttering like yeah I was not working, I was really I looked for a job, zilikuwa ngumu na would you hire me if that was my answer? Just be honest. No, you should already think about how you're going to answer those questions. So in your mind, not in your mind, I don't want you to cook up an answer, but think through these things beforehand, so that when you're asked, you answer confidently. You know, have you ever found somebody doing something wrong and they respond confidently? Even now, when you start to backtrack because you're like, wait, no, maybe I'm the one who misunderstood, because of how well they've answered. That's what I'm talking about. So you need to know, why is it that you took your break? So you know the answer. So I had a child and so I needed time apart, and then this is now you talking to yourself. I needed time apart. Time away from work so that I could focus. It was the dynamics, we couldn't find a house help, and so my husband was doing this and the other, and therefore it was just best for us to stay home. That's what we decided as a family, kind of thing. And so even in an interview, you need to be able to communicate that well. Not with the long backstory that, oh, now there was a shosho who was coming to take care of the kid, and then that shosho now was not well, and then now there's a nanny, the nanny left. Not that. It's that between 2015 and 2017, I have a gap that you've asked about. I have a gap in my CV. During that time, I had my firstborn daughter, and you talk about that with positivity and energy, because it's something that you wanted and something that you're happy and proud of. Sorry, English, it's failing me, making me not to be proud. Something you're proud of, and you want to share that. Yes, so within that time that I had my daughter, I had my son, and at that particular point in time, I spoke to my employer and we agreed that it would be okay for them to release me to stay home and take care of my family, because as a family, that is what we decided to be best during that time. And so then, so that you already explained what the thing was, and then now you want to explain what value you found in that time that you were at home, because you don't want to be, unless you were sick, unless you were immobilized and just really in a state where you could not learn, you could not grow, you could not have any skill. You need to share what value you've gotten from that time that you are not working. So in that time that I have been a stay-at-home mom, I've really built up on my skill of organizing, just because there are a number of things that I needed. So now you talk about that, and I'm not going to give you all the answers. My organization skills, my multitasking ability, being able to plan for weeks ahead. I have been able to do online courses. So share what value you have gotten or what things you have grown in. They don't have to be complex, but they should be related to like business-oriented skills, and especially if they're skills which they're looking for in people. So if they're looking for somebody who can manage money, if you are the housewife in the house, you have been managing the money of the house and stretching it, but now you just need to present that in a way that shows that you have grown in that thing in the time that you have been away. I hope that is making sense, guys. It's so difficult to just talk to myself in the camera because I can't, you're not nodding or shaking it. I don't know. Comment below if you are getting what I'm saying. If you're not, also comment below so that I can be able to respond to your question. Then the other thing is that you want to reassure that your employer that this is not a practice of yours and it's not going to happen again. So employers don't want to hire people who, one, are not fresh and relevant to their skill, but people who are not valuing of the work. And lastly, people who at any point will just up and, oh, okay, I'm not doing this anymore, or I'm not. That's the danger with like job hopping, if they perceive that you're a job hopper or that you're not really committed to your work. So reassure them that now you're back, and you're back to do the work, to do the task. You feel like you're up to it because you've done A, B, C, D, and you feel like you've read the job description, and based on what you did before and the value that you have gotten in the time that you have been away, this is what you're able to deliver. And so that should reassure the employer or the recruiting panel, recruiting person, that you are able to deliver in that particular role. Another thing is that you can do is be able to talk about it in your cover letter. So if it's a huge gap, address it. Be the one to bring it up. You don't want to be found in the defensive. Again, like how I said in an interview, you'd be ready with the answers, and you're answering confidently, you're answering not shakily and like you've done something wrong, but owning your story and being able to share that. So in your cover letter, you can also indicate between 2010 and 2015, I was not actively employed. In this time, I started my own business. These are the things that I did. I was in charge of marketing. I was in charge of this and this and this. Despite all the effort that I put in the business did not survive. Did not survive. You can phrase that better. The business proposition was just not taken up by consumers at that point in time, but critical lessons were learned. So if you did take a break to start your own business, whatever the business was, even if it was mama mboga kind of business, or you are doing mama fua, or you are doing social media marketing, or you are doing content creation, all of that can be explained. Okay, don't hide it away from your CV. Put it in there. Even if all you are doing was making shea butter at home, or you were babysitting, that's a business. Please write it there. Those are business skills that you have learned. Include it even in your cover letter, but just a brief note, and of course it will come up in the interview. Another thing that you can do to address employment gaps is to shorten the gap by looking for a job right away, which is of course what you're doing. But the other thing is by doing consulting, doing teaching, or getting into business, or volunteering. Okay, volunteering counts. So if in a period of time that you've not been working, you've been volunteering, whether it's at a church, whether it's at a CBO, community-based organization, or it's in your neighborhood, please put that in your CV, because that helps to answer some of the questions before you have to answer them in person. I hope that has been helpful. I hope that has encouraged you. Don't feel discouraged if you have gaps. It's not the end of the world, like I said, and be proactive about owning your story, owning your gaps, owning your transitions, because life is not just a straight line. We don't just start working at age 18 and retire at age 72 without things coming in between. I mean, this corona time, lots of people are going to have gaps at this period in time, and I hope this helps. Wish you all the best, guys. Till next time. Bye.